Before beginning this section of the module, be sure that you have completed the Benedict's test for reducing sugars section to provide fluidity to the concepts presented here. Of the three classes of carbohydrates, the hydrolysis experiment places emphasis on disaccharides. Some disaccharides are reducing sugars. Think back to the Benedict's test. There were two disaccharides tested in this experiment, sucrose and lactose, the carbohydrate found in milk. Which one tested positive just by boiling the sample? When hydrolysis occurs, that means the bond is broken. Heat alone is not always enough to break a disaccharide bond. Sucrose solution is the starting solution in this experiment. It is a disaccharide composed of glucose and fructose. Heat alone is not enough to break its strong glycosidic bond. Human digestion requires enzymes and acid to catalyze hydrolysis. In this experiment, the disaccharide requires a more acidic environment to break the bond. The pH must be adjusted. After the sample has been exposed to heat and acid, it must be retested for the presence of monosaccharides. Since it is known that sucrose is composed of two monosaccharides, and that all monosaccharides are reducing sugars, the Benedict's test can be applied here. If hydrolysis has occurred in the sucrose sample, then the positive results would be evident in the color of the test tube contents.
We're going to begin the hydrolysis of sucrose by pipetting 2 milliliters of 5% sucrose into test tubes A and B. Next, we're going to pipette 2 milliliters of distilled water into test tube C. Next, we're going to add 20 drops of acetic acid into test tubes A and to test tube C. And finally, we will drop 20 drops of distilled water into test tube B. Now that we have our solutions made, we should take a look at what we have in each test tube. In test tube A, we have sucrose and acid. In test tube B, we have sucrose without acid, and in test tube C, we have acid without sucrose, so acid and distilled water. Now we need to take our products and put them into the warm bath and allow them to boil for 4 minutes. All right, now that the samples have been boiled for 4 minutes, we can now remove them from the water bath using our test tube clamps. Now we're going to repeat the Benedict's test to check for the presence of reducing sugars. Benedict's reagent is going to be added to each test tube. Again, we're going to give them a gentle mix, and we will place them back into the water bath for 2 more minutes. At the end of 2 minutes, we will remove our test tubes from the water bath. We can observe and record our results.